Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen, happy Sunday. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family is doing well. Listen, y'all, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're eating foods that are healthy for you, that are doing you good. Eat foods that are helping to fight sicknesses, illnesses, diseases, things like that. Make sure you're drinking water too. Listen, y'all, I just want to come on and give you an update concerning a story that I've talked about several times here on the channel. Many of you remember back when it happened last year. I did a video about it and we spoke about it. But I want you to know that something has finally happened. Listen, according to my sources, okay, President Biden, he actually visited, okay, for the first time, I believe, East Palestine, Ohio, a year after the toxic train derailment. Okay, many people, even I asked the question, why didn't he go there much sooner? But he has finally made the trip. Listen, y'all, President Joe Biden visited East Palestine, Ohio, this past Friday to mark 1 year since a train derailment spilled hazardous materials and toxins into the environment that forced many residents out of their homes. Okay. Um, President Biden was briefed by officials and gave remarks on the need to hold Norfolk Southern, the railroad operating the freight train, accountable for the February 3rd, 2023 spill. Okay, now he was quoted as saying, and I quote, while there are acts of God, this was an act of greed that was 100% preventable. Okay, this is according to President Biden, who also went on to say, and I quote, let me say it again, an act of greed that was 100% preventable. Okay, now my question is, what is he basing that on? Okay, I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm just simply asking the question. Why does he say that this was, and I quote, an act of greed? Okay, meaning, when I say this, meaning the train derailment. Okay, my question is, why is President Biden calling this, and I quote, an act of greed that was 100% preventable? Okay, is the train company, another question I have, Norfolk Southern, are they to fully blame for what happened? Okay, let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, um, Biden also praised the town for its, and I quote, Herculean efforts, okay, in the wake of the tragedy, and pledged to continue to support residents. All right. He was also quoted as saying, and I quote, I want them to understand that we're not going home no matter what until this job is done. It is not done yet, he said. Okay. He also was quoted as saying, and I quote, there's a lot more to do. The vast majority has been done, but we're going to stay until the very end until every need is met. Okay. He was actually faced with intense scrutiny for not going into the Ohio Pennsylvania border town in the immediate aftermath of the derailment. We talked about that around that time. Upon his arrival in East Palestine, President Biden was met with some signs that read, okay, and I quote, go home, Sleepy Joe. Others requesting he declare the emergency, according to reporters traveling with the president. Okay. Um, Listen, why do you think he decided to wait a year to visit this particular area? And I also got a chance to listen to an interview of a married couple, man and woman, from East Palestine. And do you know that they were basically saying, it's a lot of times when, and we talked about this before, we've seen this before, right? Where there's some type of tragedy happen in a small town, and the government may be telling us, hey, we're working on it, everything's great. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're taking care of it. But when you actually talk to the residents in those towns, they're still waiting to get assistance. Okay, so in this particular video that I got a chance to listen to, this interview, this couple, this married man and woman, they were speaking about how they had not been able to return to their home. As a matter of fact, they stated that when you actually try to walk in their home, your eyes start burning. Maybe they started feeling some things in their throat. And so a whole full year later, okay, this particular family, they're still displaced. They're still waiting on assistance. The lady in the video, she even began to cry. Um, and they're everyday people. They're everyday people trying to make a living. They're homeowners. They live in a home. And as of, a whole year later, they haven't been able to return to their home. So very devastating, very tragic what happened there. Has the government forgotten about the people of East Palestine, Ohio? Was this just an attempt to show up and say, hey, you know, because guess what now? No one can say that he hasn't been there because he finally went, even though it was a whole year later. However, is it too late? Okay, let me know your thoughts on this. I'll keep up with this story now. It was also mentioned that former President Donald Trump toured the area just weeks after the incident. Um, he was also accompanied by East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway and local first responders as he distributed water and supplies. Okay. Um, Trump told residents at the time, and I quote, "Unfortunately, as you know, your goodness and perseverance were met with indifference and betrayal in some cases." Okay. Even President Biden, okay, my sources say, commented earlier this week again, writing on his social media platform, and I quote, Biden should have gone there a long time ago. For him to go now is an insult to those who live and work in East Palestine." Okay, let me know your thoughts on that. As a matter of fact, let's see. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me sneeze. Excuse me, or cough. Or sneeze, one of the two, y'all, okay? That was a sneeze. I'm sorry about that. Listen, President Biden, okay, said that President Biden in the White House said after the spill in East Palestine that he would visit at some point, but nothing was scheduled in 2023, okay? Um, the mayor of East Palestine heavily criticized Biden for visiting Ukraine last winter instead of East Palestine, calling it a slap in the face. Did you all know that President Biden went to Ukraine before he even went to East Palestine? Okay. Um, Let me know your thoughts on this, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Is it too late? Should Norfolk Southern be held fully accountable? Let me know your thoughts, okay? Take care, be blessed, stay safe, and I'll talk to you in another video, okay? Thanks so much for tuning in.